So check out who decided to show up today now that it's time for the Monster Mash. So here it is, the brainchild of all my planning for this month's Halloween decks. This is the Monster Mash. This deck is just basically a big pile of all the monsters you can fit together into one deck in all 5 colors, and let's see what happens. To give a quick overview, it's led by Kyodai, Soul of Kamigawa, because it's one of the very few 5-color commanders that meets the criteria I had, which is one of the monster types that are in the game, which in this case is spirits, which I did a spirit deck a few days back. You can check that video out, I'll throw a link into the screen here. But for those of you who don't know what she does, for 3 and a white, you get a Dragon Spirit 3/3 flash with flying. That says when it enters, one of your other permanents gains indestructible as long as you control Kyodai, and then you can pay Wooburg to give her 5/5/5 until end of turn. That's not really pertinent in this deck. It happens to come into play a couple of times in the video, I do believe, because I've already shot the games, but the indestructible is the more important part. But oftentimes you're just not even going to cast her in the first place. She's just mostly here for the colors. And then we have a category of removal spells. I have mostly, it's almost all mass removal. Finale of Eternity, Meathook Massacre, Languish, Path of Peril. They're just all give things negative counter, or negative until end of turn, or just destroy a bunch of stuff outright, and then you turn around and keep the board clear for your other stuff. And then we have Find Finality. This has a modal attached to it. On the find side, you can return 2 of your dead creatures to your hand, or in Finality, you can give one of your monsters +2/+2 counters, and then neg4 everything and kill it. So basically, it's Languish with counters strapped to it. And then the one single target that I have in here is Binding of the Old Gods, because it helps us fix our mana as well. Speaking of mana fixing, we also have our mana fixing category. We have Urban Utopia, and then we have, which makes us fix our colors. And then we have a bunch of mana rocks, the usual suspects like Arcane Signets and Cold Steel Heart. Chromatic Lantern here makes a good play because then it makes all of your stuff tap for whatever, so the 5 colors don't matter. Relic of Legends taps for any color, and then we have a few basic land search cards. I don't run too many basics in the deck, so there's not many of these. We have Cultivate, Settle the Wilds, and Migration Path. And the nice part about Migration Path is if you get into the later game and you either don't need the lands or you're out of basics, just cycle it and draw a card. And then we have 3 columns of monsters that are in this deck. It's just basically the criteria landed in, was it one of the monster types that I liked, such as spirits, vampires, zombies, devils, horrors, demons, nightmares, like just, you know, the horror movie monster types basically for the most part. And if it did, I gave it a good look. And then my other criteria is the cards could not focus in on those particular tribes. They couldn't really care that much because we're using so many different creature types. I didn't want them focusing in on any one of them. So there's no +1/+1 lords here. There's no, oh, if this creature type dies, you do something type cards. None of that's here. So let's take a quick look, because you can kind of mix and match this up however you want to do it. We have a Nightmare in Fiend Artisan. It gets +1/+1 for everything in your graveyard, and then you can use it to search for some of your bigger, better monsters later. You got Cruel Celebrant. It's one of our vampires. Pings your opponent. Dorothea, one of our ghosts, which then creates ghosts if you strap the enchantment side onto something. One of our werewolves, Pack Leader. He just helps you draw cards and gets bigger and badder. We have devils in here. We have more zombies. Tainted Adversary creates extra zombies for you. One of our very few humans is Jodah, the Gold Collar of Nephalia. And he's here because he's actually a necromancer, and he's just going to be summoning more zombies for us, so he's on theme. Suspicious Stowaway, I had to use this. It's one of my favorite werewolves, and it's just a good card. And being a 5-color deck, it was a good excuse to squeeze him in here. Twin Blade Geist, you know, double strike, and you can strap this on and make one of our better monsters even better. So, and then we got Foulmire Knight has Death Touch 1/1, and then you can use the adventure mode to draw a card. Lantern Bearer, again, it's one of our ghosts, but the big thing here is you can make one of your ground pounding monsters into a big fat flyer if you need to as well. Next column, we have Brutal Cathar. It's just one of the best ways to remove stuff, plus it's a werewolf, so it fits perfectly on theme. Hanged Executioner, it's a good removal spell as well, plus it gives us some ghosts to play with. Fellstinger Zombie draws cards, and if you have the last couple of points of damage you need to push across the plate, well, you can use this to do it as well. Graveyard Trespasser, Graveyard Hate, built into a werewolf. Every time your stuff dies, you get to draw a card off of this little zombie. Stormseeker gives stuff haste as you're going along. Sin Prodder is one of the few devils in the deck. This is really good, especially if they hit one of your big creatures, because if they don't want you to have it, they're going to have to pay some life to get rid of it. This is more mana fixing as well, but it also happens to be a werewolf. Florian doesn't care about vampires, it just cares about the damage dealt, and then it helps you dig deeper into your deck. Leyline Prowler, another one of our mana fixers, it happens to be a nightmare. How convenient. And then we have, this is funny, there's actually a lot of keywords scattered across our cards in this deck, so Odric actually gets to mess around in this deck. So I thought, you know what, he is so maligned with the community, let's throw him in there just as a joke, but sometimes he actually gets you some blood tokens. We have Rafine, one of our demons. She's just really good, so there's no reason not to play her. And then our last column of monsters here, we have the heavy hitters, the big, what I would call the big boys. We got top here, we have Elenda the Dusk Rose. 2 white black, you get a 1/1 lifelink, and every time your creatures are dying, so like your decaying zombies, or other things like that, she'll grow in size, and then if she dies, you get a bunch of 1/1 vampires too. Storev Divkaran Lich, if it deals combat damage to a player, you can return to your hand a creature that died there, if it was, as long as it wasn't the combat that this happened in when it did the combat damage. Wow, that was wordy and really poorly worded. Let me try that again. If it deals damage to someone, you get to return a creature card from your graveyard as long as it didn't die this turn. That's a little better. Arlen, it's the werewolf planeswalker, so it's going in here. Jetmir, another one of our demons, just fun to throw it in here and see what happens. God Eternal Oketra, this thing has done a lot of work for me in some of the games. 3 white, you get a 3/6 double striker that whenever you cast a creature, you get a 4/4 zombie warrior with vigilance. It's just really good, and it is really freaking hard to get rid of. If you do not have a way to counter the death trigger on this thing, it's coming back. Illithid Harvester, this thing has actually done a little bit of work for me too. It's 4 and a blue to get a 4/4. Not extra exciting, but it has an ability that says whenever it enters the battlefield, any number of your target tapped non-token creatures, you turn them face down and they become 2/2 horrors. That's it. They're just flipped over. They lose all their abilities. They do not go back to the command zone, so you can flip a commander face down and they're stuck there until they die. And then it has a sorcery attached to it as well for an adventure that says X blue blue. Tap X target creatures they don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So you can freeze out their stuff for a turn and then just flip them face down and get rid of them for the rest of the game. Or flip them down and just, like, okay, well, you're losing all your special triggers and all the other things that they do. We have Boneyard Aberration for 4 and a black. If it dies, it's a 3/3 skeleton dog, one of the few skeletons that are playable here. You get to exile this from your graveyard when it dies, and you conjure 3 copies of Assembling Skeleton into your graveyard. So sometimes that comes into play to have just extra bodies to throw around. Ghoulcaller Gisa, one of our other humans in the deck. She's a necromancer. If you watched my other video on the Mono Black Zombies earlier this Halloween season, you'll see her in action. But for those who didn't see it, I'll throw a link in there. And what she does is for 3 black, you get a 3/4 that says black tap, sacrifice another creature, create X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens where X is the power of the sacrificed creature. So if you have something you want to have die, like that Boneyard Aberration, or a couple cards we have coming up here soon, you just sacrifice them, you'll get 3 2/2 zombies off of the Boneyard Aberration, and you'll get your 3 copies of the Reassembling Skeletons as well. Pretty good. Underrealm Lich for 3 black green, you get a 4/3 zombie elf shaman that says if you would draw a card, you look at the top 3 instead, you pick one and put the other 2 in the graveyard, and then you can pay 4 life and it gains indestructible and you tap it. The card draw selection is really good because we have a couple different cards in here that care about the graveyard, and you can just be like, oh, I'll pick these, I'll pick this card, and then I'll throw the other stuff in the graveyard, and then you just resurrect it. And then we got Burning Rune Demon, same kind of concept. You pick 2 creatures with different names, and you go, it's actually 2 cards, but in this case, you're doing creatures in this deck. And one goes to the graveyard, you can resurrect it, and the other one goes to your hand. You got Avabrak Caretaker, good werewolf, it has hexproof, and then you put counters on your creatures, and if it ever flips over, all your stuff's getting bigger. Olivia Crimson Bride for 4 black red. You get a Flying Haste Vampire 3/4, and when she attacks, you get to return a card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. And if it gains when you don't control a legendary vampire, exile this creature. Well, the good combo here, and if you look down in the bottom there, you'll see Lord Xander sticking his head out. He's a good combo with her, and I'll talk about him in a minute. We got Zagreus, Thief of Heartbeats, another one of our vampire legends. He's a 4 black and a red for a 4/4 vampire rogue that says it costs 1 less for each creature in your party. Once in a while that comes in handy where it cheapens him up by 1 or 2. He has Flying, Death Touch, and Haste, and other creatures you control have Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy the Planeswalker. So he basically gives your creatures Planeswalker Death Touch, which is kind of nice. We have Toxel the Corrosive for 5 black, 7/7 slug horror, so he fits my theme here, and he kind of reminds me of the Blob from the old horror movies. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control, and those creatures get -1 for each slime counter on them. And whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a slug. So, and then you can pay blue black and sack a slug to draw a card. So this thing is just nuts. I usually go and hunt this thing down with the Burning Rune Demon or something of that nature, because they're not going to let you have it. They're going to make you discard it. And then you just go ahead and resurrect it with something like, I don't know, Olivia. And then we got this Lord Xander the Collector for 4 blue, black, red. It's a 6/6 vampire demon noble that says when it enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half their cards in their hand rounded down. When it attacks, defending player mills half their library rounded down, and when it dies, target opponent sacrifices half their non-land permanents rounded down. Very rarely do I get to do anything more than slam this down and they discard a couple of cards off of it. But once in a while, you get to the point where it just gets to be out of hand, where they're either losing part of their deck or they just lose half their stuff because they're just too scared to let it live, and they'll just kill it outright to get rid of it. And then the last column before the lands is things that synergize and fit the theme of what I've got going on here. So first we have Ethereal Absolution. Pumps your creatures and reduces their creatures down. And then you can create spirits with it. So it creates a ghost, essentially, which is just on theme here. We have Skeletal Swarming, which creates skeletons for us. Love that synergy. Diregraph Rebirth, one of those resurrection spells I was talking about. You just raise the dead and be your own little necromancer. Return of the Wildspeaker for 4 and a green. You can either draw cards equal to the greatest power of non-human creatures you control, or all your non-humans get +3/+3. This deck is almost all non-humans, so this card just fits like a glove. We got Guardian Project, which is just a good way to get cards basically in this deck. I threw it in as a way to just generate a little bit of card advantage because we don't have a lot. Monster Manual, though, I've been looking for a way to build a deck that uses the Monster Manual, and it has monster in the name, so it just fits the theme of the deck. And this thing actually puts in some work in the gameplay, where I'm able to cheat in a little earlier copies of like Lord Xander, just like pay 2, slam down Xander on turn 5. Sometimes you can do it on turn 4 if you get this down early enough. And then the last card before the lands, Threats Undetected. Another card just like the Monster Manual. I've been looking for a way to fit this thing into a deck. Well, this actually works out pretty well for us because we have so many varied powers on the cards that you can grab stuff like Toxrill and Xander and a burn, and then you can go down and go, okay, I'll take an Everbrook Caretaker and a Rafine or something like that, and be like, here, give me what you want. So you'll mostly get things that you want to cast and want having in play. So it's just a good card all around here. And then we have our land base. It's basically every mana producing land that can cover our color base, and a few basics to kind of cover our land search effects and stuff like that. Or if somebody's playing a Path of Peril, or no, what is it? Path of Peril, was that Path of Ruin or whatever? I forget the stupid name. But the land that destroys non-basic lands and makes you search for basic, it helps cover for that. Everything else you have is non-basic lands. You have your shocks, you have your pathways. Let's see here. Mostly that. We have a few of the new pain lands in here. I also have near the bottom here, we have a lot of the tri-lands, like the Rafine's Tower, Xander's Lounge. We also have some of the older ones, Savai Triome and Ketcher Triome. And then I also threw in one copy of the World Tree because it makes all of your lands tap for whatever. Once you have 6, I should say. But that is the deck. I hope you have fun with it, and we'll come back and talk about it after the games. Oh, it's the other Jodah. Okay, it's not the one that's not quite as painful to deal with. It's still pretty bad though. Way too much black in this hand, but well, no, it's not double. I was thinking whites were double black. We'll give it a try. We're definitely playing this on the black side. If I could draw a red, that would be nice. Because that would go towards either Florian or Arlen. Guess we'll just go with the blue side of that one. I have to wonder, like, anybody who actually, like, looks at this deck, like, they're probably wondering, like, what the hell are they doing? Alright, if I play this... White, blue, black. Okay, let's go ahead and take the action, because then I can play Rafine. And we'll discard the... What do I want to get rid of? Arlen, I guess? Because I can guarantee you, as a matter of a 5-color deck mirror match type deal, his deck is probably way more tuned and way better than I'm playing. Mine is just a big pile of jank. And I don't care. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and drop the pack leader. We'll target Rafine herself. We'll discard the Leyline Prowler. And the Weaver, I think. Actually, let's... Actually, let's go ahead and do Florian and the Weaver. I actually want to keep one of those. He's probably got a board cleared, and he was probably just trying to preserve his life total there. No, it's Jodah. Okay. Well, I have Kyodai available now, so that is all to the good. Let's just go ahead and start smashing. Let's do the token. 1, 2, actually keep that. 3, 4. Now it makes it so he can't just chump the token outright and take the rest of the damage. He's going to lose Jodah if he wants to block any of it. 4, 7, 10. He's got to block 1. So I'm going to go ahead and cast Coyote and preserve my white. I don't need to let it die. And if he sweeps the board, if it's anything but a farewell, he's dead. So it's a one, you must have this card type effect. Well, I guess he could do a extinction event too. Nope. There it is. Like I said, the less annoying version of Jodah. It's an Ivy deck. Alright, so mutates and auras are going to be the order of the day. Got black. Got ways to kill things. I think I'll keep that. We'll go ahead and decline. We don't need to take a blast to the face if we don't need to. What the heck is that? Okay, that must be from that event that's going on right now in Arena for the Magic 30th. Let's decline that one. Don't need to take the damage again. I haven't done that event as of yet. I haven't had time. Let's see. Do we need the double black yet? Not yet. Let's just go ahead and do this. And we'll do... I guess the double black would have made it so I could cast Florian. That was an oops. I do need the double black eventually, but let's go ahead and do Guardian Project, and I'm going to swing. Now, next turn, if he plays Ivy out, I can just Finality of Eternity and just smash his entire board to splinters. Like, the only card that would, like, wreck this is a okay. I mean, that's okay. Again, I still have the ability to smash this. I just kill these two and the unblockable, because him suiting up that unblockable with a big fat mutate creature is just not gonna fly. Alright, let's do white, because that would give me the Wooburg rig when I need it. Let's just do 1, 2, 3. And actually, I don't even need 3. Hang on. I can just do it for 1, because it's the toughness. So, ding, ding, ding. If I'm not going after the Nezian Wanderer, I don't care about that. I just can't have him copying a bunch of stuff, especially with 2 Ivies on the board. Alright. He was not gonna block with that regardless of anything else. So, let's play Florian. That could be interesting. Let's do... I don't have another black to mess with right now, so this can come in untapped. I'm gonna swing. Probably should have waited on that because of the Florian trigger, but that's okay. We'll just send that into exile. I'm not gonna exile the other two. But if he swings, I'm just windmill slamming this freaking Elephant Harvester. I do not like the cartouche effects, the I give flying effect, because you don't, all you get out of it is the cantrip effect. You don't get anything else out of those because Ivy already has flying. I played that deck and I hated those effects because it's like, it just felt subpar at best. But great, so they fly. Ooh. Come on. Yeah, any day now. Okay, my man, what's going on here? I wonder if he was weighing if, you know, I had removal or something. It's just that the decision took him way longer than it should have. So far, I'm not doing too good at keeping Ivy's abilities in check. He only attacked with one of them. He must really not want me getting through with more damage this time. What's going on? If the system's hung up, or maybe they just have a bad connection. Or hell, for all I know, my connection's all screwed up. What the hell does this card do? Card. It has word one. Okay. I'm okay with that. Ideally, I would just draw board clear and clean this mess up before it gets out of control, but I don't know that that's going to happen. It doesn't show me the other cards off of Florian, but it was the Tox roll would have been nice, but it's at the bottom of the deck. This guy is playing so slow. coast. Let's do the Cruel Celebrant. See what we get off of it. Alright, let's do Fell Stinger. I'm gonna sack the Midnight Reaper, give myself some cards. This ought to be a decent way to load up. I think I got maybe one more turn before I'm just totally screwed. Alright, we got Twin Blade Geist. Sack the Reap. Give me cards. Two more. Why, thank you. I'll take another. Okay. It's a thing. Not gonna swing because he can just block it all day with the 2/4. I'm just gonna load up because at worst he'd have to bounce everything back to my hand with like a River's Rebuke or something like that, versus just loading the board up with threats ready to go. Plus everything that I have, if I board sweep, Cruel Celebrant's going to do damage, so it doesn't hurt to just load out. He's not gonna board sweep unless he's got the Phasing of Zhalfir. Think about the card name there for a second. It doesn't see a ton of play, but it sees a little bit. I've had it used on me a few different times. Man, what the heck is going on here? Alright, Sea Dasher. So he can draw cards for days. Like, he's got, what, 3 or 4 things per... Okay, no, 3. So he can draw 6 cards on combat damage if he really, really wants to. Okay. I was afraid he was going to start getting like the auspicious Sterix shenanigans going. Then I'd be really screwed because they're just way too big for me to handle. Now the nice part is if he swings with both, I can take a big chunk out of his life. If he doesn't, I'm swinging with the Fell Stinger, and he's going to regret his life. So, Lantern Bearer's also going into play here because I'm not letting him draw some of those cards if he can't get rid of it. There's no reason to let him have all those extra cards. Really? Okay. Hang on a second. Oh, clicked where I shouldn't have clicked. Let's do... Oh, I need the double blue. Let's do the adventure for 2. And we're going to tap these. He made a little bit of a goofy there. By putting the Sea Dasher on top of Ivy, it lost its legendary status, so it lost its ward, so I don't have to pay the extra for the ward cost on the aura that's sitting there. He's got to have, there it is. I'm like, you got to have something here, man. Resolve. And that's fine. It means the Illithid's going to the grave, though. Because it loses both the targets, so the spell doesn't resolve. It's the same kind of trick you can do with Bone Crusher Giant. If you give something hexproof with it, the spell just fizzles out and crashes into the graveyard rather than going into the adventure zone. And there it goes. Alright. What is the good play here? Probably this on green. And Alinda. Okay. One of my werewolves. I mean, I'm swinging that Fellstinger. I don't care. It lets me look at 3 cards. It kills one of his creatures. He loses 3 life. He bounces back to my hand. I get to reuse it. There's a lot of number of things that do good things for me here. And all of them come out ahead for my intended purposes. Why would... That's so weird. It's like, why wouldn't you have done that before I did that? Because then he could have blocked it. It wouldn't have done anything. It's like the only thing I would have got is the death triggers on the Celebrant and the Alenda, and I would have got to look at 1 card instead of 3. And you would have took less damage. So, like, there's a huge question mark over my head right now. And when I'm this tired, it just makes my brain go, boop, goodbye. Okay, that's 10 damage coming my way, if he so chooses to do so. Not sure that he is, but... Not sure what else he's got up his sleeve. I mean, crap, he could have like a +2/+2 or a pair of +1/+1 enchants or something, and I'm just dead. Alright, so what do I do here? I think... Step 1 is to shove this Fellstinger at him. Again, I get... It's all upside. Even if he has another indestructibility thing going on for himself. I get triggers, I get to look at stuff. I'm all good with that. Okay. Niv Mizzet Parun. Ugh. We had some real just nasty stuff tonight coming up against me. Which honestly is not great. Let's go ahead and toss out the Falmire Knight, because I got no other reason to screw around with that. Let's just go ahead and zap myself some more. Because why not? Let's go ahead and knock that down and go to town. Is that the draw 2 card? Is that what this is? Okay. Yeah, big meanie. Really big meanie. Damn. Alright, let's play Arlen then. Just in case he's got any more board sweep action going on. Oh, hey, what do you know? If I do red-green, that doesn't do me much good. Let's go with the pound face mode. And we'll toss out a Felstinger. Oh wow, he actually had a rewind for that. Okay. I mean, I probably wasn't going to draw the cards off of it. I was probably just going to let it sit there as a nice little death touch threat to deal with. 2 each their own. Him blowing up that artifact, though, really slowed me the hell down. I think he's looking at something to see if he can kill Arlen. No, might be digging for a way to kill her now. Okay, well now I know he has a Wizard's Retort in his hand that he can't cast this turn. Well, ow. I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
Follow the enemy's scent. They're close.
And I'm gonna let her flip. I know that he's got the Wizard's Retort, but there's no point in not letting her get back up and running again.
Meditate and prepare.
If he decides he wants to burn the mana to get his Niv Mizzet down or whatever, then I can just flash in the Underrealm Lich. And if he doesn't, well, okay, there's the blue. Let's go ahead and flash my Lich. And it's bigger than your Lightning Strike. Oops. That's fine. She did her thing. Problem is I don't have white mana, so I kind of need the white mana. His is just pay 4 life, right? Okay. Let's just go to town. It's like he's going to do 4 damage to my face with it this turn anyways, so I might as well go ahead and just do this. It's not like it's a net amount of anything. And in fact, it probably saves me some damage in the grand scheme. Because it tucks him away a little bit until he draws into it again. Let's take the Everbrook. Again, I know he's got the counter, so I'm not gonna sit here and make around with it. I'll just sit with Kyodai open if I can. Bombardment, okay. I'm just gonna flash in Kyodai. That's 10 damage. Trespasser, why not? Face. Bye-bye. Somebody didn't math that out very well. Elas, il-Kor, Sadistic Pilgrim. Alright, we got us aristocrats coming up. All of us black and no black mana. Can't keep it. That's a little closer. Better, closer, a lot better. At least the lands actually match what's in my hand. Go green side up on that one. And we'll go Signet. Keep the mana rolling. Alright, she's up. Let's go black, because double black is usually a little better for us. And let's go Guardian Project. I'm not in danger of, dying immediately. So card advantage is good. Or it can get removed right away. Okay. Let's play God Eternal Catcher. I was thinking of Twin Blade Grace, but I got enough to get my other Devil's Trigger out, which is much better. If I do this... Yeah, we can do this. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's ditch... Let's go ahead and ditch the Diregraph Rebirth, because I can flash it back. Do I have a board wipe in my future? Okay. It'll be back. I love the freaking God Eternals. Oketra was the one that I really wanted in my pre-release kit back when the set came out, and it was actually my foil stamped card in the pack, and I actually forced it into the deck to play. It was hilarious. Let's see here. Let's go Midnight Reaper. And let's go ham. Let's discard Relic, Odric, Triome, Carplusion. I'm not discarding the other two cards. I need them more than I need that other stuff. Alright, and we'll end the turn because the holdup is just the 2 blue on this. Now, depending on what I draw, if he sits there and pushes Elas back out, okay, then I would just do the Illithid Harvester tap out stuff. But since he didn't do that, let's just keep on pushing. Let's go ahead and put the counters on Reaper. If I get stuff to do counters. You. I'd like to play a land this turn. So my yard is filling up nicely. And they give up. The monsters did their mashing this time. Goreclaw, okay. Let's see if we can avoid the weirdness that I just had happen. Yeah, we'll keep this. I was playing as a Turgid deck, and on turn 2 I went to drag a Fiend Artist on the board, and as soon as I let go of the card, the client just froze up and locked everything down. I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Let's go, I got blue here and here. Let's go black. And big spender. I'll go with the Triome this turn. I don't need to get everything down right away. I could have went Coast into the Sin Prodder, but I think I would actually rather get go Coast Monster Manual, because then I can use the Monster Manual to slam down a Burning Rune Demon if he doesn't have a shattering effect. Alright, there's Goreclaw. Let's go. Double green, actually 3 green sources. Let's get another red source. And you know what? Let's go do Burning Rune Demon, and I'll go dig up a couple more things for the monster manual to go crashing down on them with. Let's do Toxrill and Xander. Actually, the other one goes into the graveyard, so let's do Toxrill and Olivia. Because if he makes me pitch the Toxrill, I'll just bring it back. Otherwise, I get to use the monster manual to slam Toxrill next turn. Okay, well, here comes the Sin Prodder too. For good measure. It's always fun finding those little interactions. Oh, he's gonna smash the monster manual. Okay, well, it's alright. Olivia can come down hard cast. Alright. Dude, you gotta tell me to ditch it or not. We'll drop that in. Actually, I'll decline that. I'll go ahead and do the aberration. Because with the Titan of Industry and the way I can't swing Olivia because I don't have another vampire. I could have done Xander with her, then it wouldn't have mattered. God damn. Alright, I need a board sweep. Yikes. Alright, well, Goreclaw can just go eat it. It's like, do I really want to smash that? Oh, it doesn't matter, because if this makes contact, he gets a bunch of stuff anyways. So, untapping 3 lands is like, whatever. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is going to get ugly really quick if I don't pull some kind of sweep. Oh my. Yeah. Well, that doesn't do me no good. Huatli. Okay. I think we're going to give this one last try to get a good game out of this deck. But so far, I am not impressed. Do the breeding pool so we don't have to burn the life. Attack deterrence. Go. Go black. Urban Utopia on the breeding pool. Okay. No attacks. Like I said, attack deterrence. I don't want him building up a bunch of tokens and stuff. Shivan Reef. I mean, my colors are fixed at least. Let's do another black. Nope. Now, if he's got a way to, he's got a way to pump it. No. All right. Let's do. See, I have Olivia, and I can get her online pretty quick. Trying to think what would work out the best for us here. Let's do the Underrealm Lich, because I can protect it, at least from like a fight. And if he wants to, if he wants to block there, I'm not gonna cry too hard over the loss of a werewolf. Wow, okay. Well, past the blockers. he wants to pump, I'll just protect her. Or him. Okay, no pump. Wedding announcement, okay. I could really go for my Path of Peril right about now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do... I have a Diregraph Rebirth in my hand too. Let's put the Guardian Project in my hand, put the other two in the graveyard. And then let's cast Diregraph Rebirth on Xander. And let's go to combat. Let's go ahead and attack. I like a card. I'll keep the finale because I might need that to fix my board. Now, if he decides he wants to, like, you know, dump a bunch of stuff on the board and make her big enough to kill Xander on a swing, or he wants to kill Xander... Okay, never mind. Well, that's a pain. However, it's alright. I'll let him block, and then we can flashback Diregraph Rebirth and bring him back. I'll take the land. And we'll go ahead and do this on white, because I actually have no actual white lands. And she is a 3-drop. This is toughness. So it actually looks at her power and toughness. I can do that for 4 currently. Olivia would have been good if Xander was in the graveyard. Thinking, what do I do here? Let's do threats undetected. Toxtrol is a really dangerous thing they can't really let me have. But then again, so is... Let's look at this really quick. Let's do Brutal Cathar. Let's do... Fiend Artisan, and... Let's do Jetmir. I'm guessing he gives me Jetmir and he gives me the Fiend Artisan. We'll see. Place your bets, folks. Place your bets. That's my guess. Because he's not going to give me the Toxtrol because it would wipe out his entire board. And he's not going to give me... Wow, I would have lost that bet. I was like, he's not going to give me that Brutal Cathar, is he? Alright, well, I'm going to nuke her. So... Yeah, you yahoos can go. Because if Xander dies, I don't care. I'm a little surprised by him doing the Cathar. Okay, well, I'm fine with Xander dying. It's like, congrats on your 1-1. Alright. What's in my yard? Xander. Let's go Olivia. Bring Xander back. Because even if Olivia dies, Xander will stick around since he is a vampire. Oh, waving the white flag. Gotcha. So what did you guys think? I had a lot of fun playing the deck. It's just it got frustrating at times because it kind of just clunked up. It's not a very tuned deck. I would not build this deck how I have it built, and I also would not build this deck unless you have the cards in your collection or similar replacements to go in there. I didn't spend any wild cards on this deck. I already had a lot of this stuff laying around, and I just kind of threw it together. So, but with that said, happy Halloween to everybody out there. Have fun with it if you want to play it, or have fun playing whatever you're playing right now, and we'll see you next time.